Airports across America are increasing security measures after the terrorist attacks in Paris, but also after this. After Al-Qaeda published what counterterrorism experts say appears to be the most detailed and potentially lethal bomb recipe ever sent to its followers. It's in the latest edition of that Al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula English language magazine. The Department of Homeland Security Secretary reports that there is no specific credible threat to the United States. But in France, investigators are frantically hunting down at least 6 people still believe, or I should say up to 6 people, still believed to be on the loose from a particular terror cell. Police say somebody spotted one of them driving a car, which was registered to the widow of the man who attacked the kosher market in Paris. With us now, the former State Department counterterrorism agent Fred Burton. He was involved in many high-profile investigations and helped track down Ramzi Youssef, who was the mastermind of the first World Trade Center bombing. It's nice to see you. Thank you.
Thanks for having me, Shep.
This recipe for a bomb here, this thing's disturbing. Tell us what you can.
It certainly is, Shep, but I have to say that failure will remain the norm without human intelligence on these groups and these actors. It's not like in the movies in trying to track these individuals. It takes a tremendous amount of resources, and it really takes very capable tactical analysts.
What are we doing wrong that we need to be doing differently?
If you look at the sheer volume of jihadis on the loose in Europe, that's the rub to begin with. And then you have to put them in a threat matrix, and you really have to have a live model evaluating them on a daily basis to try to see which next operational cell is going to strike.
I spoke with one person in the know on terrorism over there who's very high placed and whom I trust, who said you need 20 agents on average to track each individual terrorist within each individual cell. And he said that they're talking about some 2,000 terrorists. So that leaves you at 40,000 agents. Nobody can do that. So then it becomes a matter of deciding who's the worst.
Exactly, and that's where the threat assessment comes into play. And the silent heroes in this kind of equation are the analysts behind the scenes that look at that kind of data and try to connect the dots, then push that out to the surveillance teams so they can watch the next operational cells.
It sounds to me like we need to work on ideology a little bit harder, because this matter of picking them off and keeping them from doing whatever they want to do, it sounds like a real tall order.
Well, also remember, too, you're dealing with folks on the margins of criminality that are engaged in all kinds of activity, from being in jail to weapons smuggling to drug running. So in essence, you have a hybrid mix there with criminality and terrorists, and literally police departments and intelligence agencies have many of these programs still siloed.
And further than that, that argument seems to ring true absolutely across all levels here. And there's also this lack of hope. These 20-somethings who get out of jail and trying to get out of that life with no hope for a job, no place to go, no real answers in their life, no promise of anything, and then along come these jihadis online saying, hey, here are the virgins, and here's avenging the Prophet Muhammad, and you'll be a hero. They never heard talk like that from anyone before. We need a counter-narrative.
Absolutely. There's a lot of similarities on how individuals are developed into criminal gangs in Los Angeles or New York City or Washington, D.C. They're appealing to the same set of principles.
And has anyone come up with a strategy for attacking that?
I think at the end of the day, though, Shep, remember, we're a nation of laws, and we're operating under Attorney General guidelines here domestically, and each nation state has their own standards for what kind of intelligence case can be opened and what kind of person can be surveilled. So it really is, at times, a bit of a mess to try to get your arms around all of this.
It sure is. Fred Burton, a former counterterrorism agent himself with the U.S. Department of current VP of Intelligence for Stratford Global Intelligence. Nice to see you. Thanks.